One of the funnest things about Warhammer 40k Darktide and Horde shooters in general is the variety of classes that you're able to play as. The base game of Darktide offers 4 different playable classes: the Veteran, the Zealot, the Psyker, and the Ogryn, but it also offers 3 DLC classes in the form of the Arbitrator, the Hive, Scum, and the Skitarii. Before any sort of sales, the average price of each of these DLC classes is $12, which means if you buy all 3 of them, then you're basically buying Darktide all over again. If you're a new or returning player, then this cost might seem pretty steep. So let's rank each of Darktide's DLC classes, starting with the class that I recommend the least for new or returning players. And that is, of course, the Hive Scum. If you know anything about Darktide and you've played the Hive Scum or you've seen a Hive Scum in action, then you know that this is a high-octane and high-speed class. The class is a glass cannon that relies on movement and dodging in order to get the best results. As a new player who's learning the fundamentals of the game, such as blocking, pushing, dodging, and movement, the last thing that you want to worry about is getting hit 1 or 2 times and then just dying. Now, with that being said, if you have a pretty good idea of what to do in Darktide and you've mastered the control scheme, then the Hive Scum may not be a bad thing to purchase, specifically because it offers some very unique playstyles. This is the only class in the game that will guarantee that you'll never run out of ammo with the passive Pickpocket, which means that if you're looking for a ranged weapon DPS playstyle where all you do is shoot guns and that's it, then this is the easiest class to do it on. The class also offers a roguish melee berserker type playstyle, and it also offers a poisoner or alchemist type of playstyle as well. And speaking of alchemy, the Hive Scum also introduces the Stim Lab, which allows you to create your own stim that you can use to buff yourself at any point in a run to increase your damage, survivability, or speed. Additionally, if you're a fan of Necromunda, then the Hive Scum is heavily based off of or inspired off of gangers from that game. The visual design of the class makes it very apparent that the Hive Scum is effectively this game's version of the Ganger, but what isn't so apparent is the interactions that the Hive Scum has with the other classes. You don't really get an obvious sense of this until you get into the game with the Hive Scum or with a Hive Scum, but they're some of the funniest characters in the warband. One of my favorite interactions in the game is between the Hive Scum and the Veteran, and it's effectively just the Hive Scum making fun of the Veteran for talking about Cadia so much. The Hive Scum does come with a deluxe edition, which offers a unique cosmetic, but I actually don't recommend picking it up simply because the identity of the Hive Scum is tied directly to the gangs or cartels that your character is specifically from, and the deluxe edition cosmetic does not change colors to reflect which gang your Hive Scum is in. This is the same issue that you're going to run into with the Skitarii, where if you want to be from a specific Forge world, for example Styges or Branks, then the deluxe edition DLC does not change color beyond the normal Mars pattern that it comes with. And speaking of Skitarii, I've ranked it in the middle here, mostly because the Skitarii plays completely differently from any other class in Darktide. Most of the other classes in Darktide have abilities that are focused on survivability or setting you up for big damage with your weapons. With the Skitarii, you use your weapons to build a resource called Capacitance, which is used to fuel abilities and blitzes such as Cordclaw Strike and Noospheric Command. Just like the Hive Scum, the Skitarii offers a variety of different playstyles. The Skitarii is able to comfortably fill any niche, whether it's as a melee or ranged DPS, and it even brings some pretty unique support to the table in the form of its Artificer Service Skull and Medicae Service Skull, being able to perform data interrogations or resurrect downed team members respectively. The truly unique gameplay element that the Skitarii introduces for the players to experiment with is its talent tree. It has the most dynamic talent tree in the game. The Skitarii's talent tree isn't linear like the other classes in the game. You're able to include things that you normally wouldn't see in melee DPS builds or ranged DPS builds, because the Skitarii is able to go out of their way to grab talents that they want to include in those specific builds. Outside of actual gameplay, the Skitarii does a very good job of representing the Adeptus Mechanicus in general. For example, whenever you're customizing your Skitarii's eye color, the lens color of your character's helmet is actually going to change in-game. Additionally, the Skitarii is the only class in the game that not only offers 4 unique voices, but these voices are further customizable by allowing you to tune the Voxcaster behind the voice. Just like the Hive Scum, the Skitarii offers 4 different Forge worlds that your character can be from, and you can earn the cosmetics of each Forge world and represent those worlds. And just like I mentioned before, it's a little awkward to be an owner of the deluxe edition of the Skitarii, but not really care for Mars. I'm more of a Styges guy myself, but if you're a fan of the Adeptus Mechanicus faction from Mars, then feel free to pick the deluxe edition up. It's only going to give you more skins to play around with. Finally, the last class that we have to talk about, and the class that I rank the highest, and as the thing that I think that every Darktide player should own, is the Arbitrator. The Arbitrator is a really easy class for new and returning players to get into because it's so tanky and forgiving. From a gameplay perspective, the Arbitrator fills a role as a tank or as a melee bruiser, and you can either play it with a pet or without a pet. The Cyber Mastiff is like another player. It saves you from dogs, mutants, chaos spawn grabs. It'll basically save you from everything except for trapper nets. But there are benefits to running the Lone Wolf playstyle as well, because you're able to get unlimited grenades or blitz abilities in the form of shock binds and the Arbitrator's grenade, which are both very powerful crowd control options. I prefer playing with the Cyber Mastiff because I think it's where a lot of the skill ceiling in mastering the class resides. But no matter how you play or build an Arbitrator, the base kit is so good that you can't really go wrong. That's why it's perfect for new and returning players. The Arbitrator doesn't really have unique customization like the Hive Scum or the Skitarii. You can't really pick which gang you're from or which Forge world you're from, but it does have the best deluxe edition. Not only does the deluxe edition come with the Arbitrator Proctor set, but it also comes with a unique skin for your Cyber Mastiff. This skin makes your Cyber Mastiff appear completely robotic instead of appearing like an android or basically a dog with augmetics. One warning that I can give to accompany the Arbitrator is that it's really easy as a new or returning player to punch up in difficulty with this class. Theoretically, even though a class like the Psyker or the Hive Scum do significantly more damage than the Arbitrator, switching to the Psyker or Hive Scum from the Arbitrator, if that's the only class you've ever played, can be extremely difficult. The Arbitrator can definitely be brought into endgame, but it should also be used as a platform within the game to learn how to play the game and then branch off into the other classes and playstyles that Darktide has to offer. So to recap, I rank the Arbitrator as the #1 class that I think every Darktide player should own, followed by the Skitarii in the #2 spot because of its unique talent tree and high quality customization, and I rank the Hive Scum last because it's much harder for newer players to get into. As always, I appreciate your viewership, and a huge shout out to all my subscribers and channel members. Thanks for sticking around to share in my passion for Warhammer 40k. This has been Jefficus, the Emperor Protects.